the touch them all.
Oh yes, my Stray Dog family, in the event you are listening to that music, you know that it's time for another edition of Straight Talk, and time for me to bid you good night wherever you are in St. Kitts and Nevis and or throughout the entire Caribbean region. To my Straight Talk family in the Kittitian and Nevisan diaspora, I say greetings to all who are logged on to zizonline.com, the nation station. And those of you who are on the World Wide Web, on social media, Facebook, YouTube, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell the whole world that Straight Talk is live on Facebook and or YouTube as well. And wherever you are, I know some of you are in Africa, there's some of you in Asia, there's some of you in Europe. There are a whole lot of you all over North America. So I am at liberty to say good night. I can say good morning. And I can also say good afternoon, because one of such greetings is applicable to the region in which you now find yourselves, perhaps still fighting. All of us are still fighting, struggling with this dreaded COVID disease. And tonight, my Straight Dog family, I want to look at a world of crises. There's so many crises all over the world. And we all live, you know, in a global village. And St. Kitts and Nevis is part and parcel of that global village. We think of what's happening in Iceland with the volcano. Also in St. Vincent and the Grenadines as well. And while I'm not a geologist, I would confess my little reading educated me to the fact that all volcanic activity comes down to the same basic principle: eruptions, which are the result of magma from beneath the earth being pushed up to the surface, where it erupts as lava, ash, and rock. Magma is an extremely hot liquid and semi-liquid rock located under the Earth's surface. When magma flows onto the Earth's surface, it is then called lava. The volcanic eruption in St. Vincent and the Grenadines continued. It started on April 9th, 2021, and was as expected for a while before Friday's eruption. Remember, Prime Minister Gonzalez made the official announcement on that Saturday morning.
I report that at approximately 8:42 a.m., that's today, an explosive eruption at the La Soufrière volcano occurred. The ash plume extended vertically to about 10 kilometers. I've been advised that a pilot departing Canawan reported ash plume up to 25,000 feet heading eastward. The evacuation continues.
A Stray Dog family, there are some 19 active volcanoes in the Caribbean, approximately 19 active volcanoes. I believe I got that from the University of West Indies, the UWI Seismic Center. And these towering natural wonders, as they are called, can be found on islands as far north as Hispaniola to Grenada in the south. The most popular volcanoes on the list here in the Caribbean include Soufriere Hills volcano. We must remember that over there in Montserrat. It's one of the most active and studied volcanoes in the Caribbean. Volcanic activity at Soufriere Hills has been ongoing since 1995. An eruption on June 25, 1997 claimed 19 lives and resulted in two-thirds of the island being uninhabitable. For those of you who went to Montserrat in its early days, down at Plymouth, no longer. You just see rock, melted rock, I think it's called. Mount Pelée in Martinique is another volcano. In 1902, over 100 years ago, a cluster of eruptions claimed more than 28,000 lives in Martinique as a result of Mount Pelée volcano. La Grande Soufriere in Guadeloupe has been dormant since the 1970s, when seismic activity forced authorities to completely evacuate the island. Mount Scenery, just next door in Sabre, my stray dog family. That volcano has not erupted since 1640, centuries ago. The Queel, or the Keel, just next door there in St. Eustatius, or Station. The Keel has not erupted in over 1,000 years. There's Mont Diablotins, I should say, in Dominica. It has not erupted in over 1,000 years as well. That volcano is a popular hiking attraction, and bird watchers who seek to glimpse the endemic imperial Amazon, Cicero parrot, the parrot. There's Mont Trois Pitons in Dominica as well. These are three volcanoes. Trois, that's the French. Mont Trois Pitons are three volcanoes. Mont Wat, Mont aux Diables, and Mont Platepé, located in the southern region of Dominica. Mont Wat is the only volcano in the group to have had a recent eruption, which occurred in 1997. Mount St. Catherine in Grenada, beg your pardon. Mount St. Catherine is a dormant volcano located in the northern region of Grenada. There have not been any recorded eruptions on Mount St. Catherine. That volcano as well is also a popular hiking spot. Kikem Jenny. Remember Kikem Jenny? Just a few years ago. This is a highly active submarine volcano under the water, north of Grenada. The last seismic activity recorded at the site was in July 2015. I'm sure we all remember that. The ships were banned from sailing close to Kikem Jenny due to a sinking hazard caused by the gases it's released. How about the Sulphur Springs in St. Lucia? The Soufriere volcano, located 24 miles south of the capital of Castries, is famous for being the only drive-in volcano in the world. Imagine that? Could you imagine that on St. Lucia? Tourists can experience this unique drive-in volcano and enjoy a dip in hot springs and mud baths that are a reminder of the island's now dormant volcanic past. There's some Mud volcano, beg your pardon, in Trinidad and Tobago. And mud volcanoes, it is said, aren't true volcanoes, but they sure look like the real deal, but much smaller. There are over a dozen mud volcanoes in Trinidad. Digiti, located on the southern side of the island, is 20 foot high or 20 feet high and frequently belches gases. In Aruba, there's Hoiberg, or also known as the haystack. And the name of this volcanic formation that rises to 541 feet above sea level translates to a haystack. That's why it's called that. The government has built steps to the top, from which there is a great view of the mostly flat landscape in Aruba below all the way out to sea. How about Nevis Peak in Nevis? This volcano does not have, from my research, any recorded eruptions, but researchers noted that it has the potential to erupt. There are hot springs and fumaroles around the volcano, and the word fumarole or fumarole has its roots in Latin. It comes from the Latin word fumus, meaning smoke. It is an opening in the mountain's crust which emits steam and gases such as carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, hydrogen chloride, and hydrogen sulfide. The steam forms when superheated water boils as its pressure drops when it emerges from the ground. That's over there at the Nevis Peak. Come home to Mount Liamiga. Mount Liamiga has been dormant for over 1,000 years. It's a popular tourist site and can be hiked. Many people hike to Mount Liamiga. It was once called Mount Misery, I think it was called. But since independence, it was renamed Mount Liamiga. It is the 14th tallest mountain in the Caribbean. And from on top of that volcano, hikers can see the islands of Nevis, Sabre, St. Bartholomew, St. Eustatius, St. Martin, and Antigua. And we would recall that some years ago, there were earthquake tremors in the area close to Mount Liamiga, which occasioned the UE Seismic Research Center to observe that volcanic activity there for several months. And of course, La Soufrière in St. Vincent and the Grenadines is that volcano that is now or has erupted. And its last eruption was in 1979. And my Straight Talk family, it has caused much pain and agony and has caused lots of discomfort as well for the neighboring islands of Barbados and St. Lucia and beyond. Now, while there are countless potential disadvantages, I may add, such as what is happening in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and the collateral fallout in the neighboring islands, which include the potential destruction of life and property, property damage, disturbance of the ecosystem, injuries and traumas can be caused, pollution, of course, of the environment with all this ash that's in the air, disruption of public utility services. We saw what happened in Barbados and around St. Lucia and the islands in proximity. Airports were closed. Transportation affected. Water and the power supply as well also affected. But there are, however, some potential advantages of volcanic eruptions in our lives. We can think of the fertilization of the soil, nearby soil, essential nutrients phosphate and potassium from volcanic ash. We can also think of the rock fragments and sand. That's ejected materials that can be mined. Here in St. Kitts, that volcanic sand, very good sand, good for block making and what have you. So too, the sulfuric soils can be used for cement and so on. But releasing the pressure inside sometimes prevents a bigger disaster. And my Stray Dog family, I posit the view though, that we are blessed here in St. Kitts and Nevis with two volcanoes, one on St. Kitts and one on Nevis. And they ought to be developed with the aim towards creating our own energy security. We have established the geothermal source on Nevis, so too in St. Kitts. And we ought to be able to provide energy security in the context that we should be able to get a base load of electricity and reduce the cost of steam for every single citizen and resident, irrespective of their status in society. The environmental access as well. The environmental benefits that can be derived from such as well is obvious. Now, while we may focus on the advantages and disadvantages though, I submit that this is just an academic point. I submit that, and I say so because listening to Prime Minister Gonzalez this morning, he spoke to the dreadful disease, which we must advise ourselves is still with us. And Prime Minister Gonzalez spoke to a new development with respect to COVID and its presence in the shelters there in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
There's a developing issue in some of the shelters in relation to COVID-19, and I'm fearful that if we are not, if we ourselves, everybody involved, if we're not careful, we can have a spike which could create a real danger in addition to what we're having with the volcano. And some numbers that I've seen, and one or two, it's not yet, doesn't appear alarming as yet, but the uptick in one or two areas and some anecdotal evidence is giving me a little concern. Well, more than a little concern.
On the 13th, we had 6 cases, and on the 14th, we had another 6 cases. But especially worrying is the fact that we have now picked up 5 COVID-positive patients among evacuees. 2 of those persons were actually were in the homes of relatives, so that we have exposure within a private home, and the other 3 persons, one in one shelter, exposing 12 persons in that family, and 2 persons in another shelter, exposing around 8 persons in that shelter immediately as close contacts. So we are in the process now of doing contact tracing and extensive testing of those contacts. But we are extremely concerned. In one situation, no one in the shelter was vaccinated. So that's all vulnerable persons.
I raise the issue not just to highlight the double whammy being doled out to St. Vincent and the Grenadines by nature, but because we here in St. Kitts and Nevis may or can experience something similar with the imminent approach of the hurricane season. Yes, this I believe will help us to focus on preparedness, and I believe COVID vaccines must be seen as a critical component of our hurricane preparedness for 2021, which I'm told will be a very active hurricane season. Yes, I can hear you say that the hurricane season starts in June, but with the ongoing vaccine hesitancy, I hope we will not be saying after the next 6 weeks, like we used to say in our small days, June come too soon. Remember that? June come too soon. Despite being recognized as one of the most successful public health measures, vaccination is still being perceived as unsafe and unnecessary by a growing number of individuals. Lack of confidence in vaccines is now considered a threat to the success of vaccination programs. If this trend is allowed to continue, I posit the view, then vaccine hesitancy will lead to decreasing vaccine coverage and increasing risk of vaccine preventable disease outbreaks and epidemics. What is sad to me is some media houses in the Federation need to help to educate people on taking the vaccination instead of fear mongering. I repeat that. To me it is sad that some media houses and others in the Federation, they are fear mongering in respect of taking the vaccination. Yes, the fourth estate or fourth power, which refers to the press and or the news media, both in explicit capacity of advocacy and implicit ability to frame political issues, wields significant indirect social influence and can do much more to prevent vaccine hesitancy. I submit my straight dog family. Because in St. Kitts and Nevis, like elsewhere, the media has a duty it ought to perform and start doing it now.
The media houses, part of their duty is to inform. And sometimes we have to stop and realize, sometimes when we try to help, you're not really helping. So, as you say, other persons might be saying and they're criticized, but also what you're saying could also cause a problem, because if you're saying people are encouraging people not to, the same thing you're doing, to, the same thing someone might say you are doing for encouraging persons not to take. And at the end of the day, in my opinion, as you said, you have your opinion. I think what you're saying shouldn't be, because media houses are there to help get information out, to prevent bad things from happening, to prevent persons from running into danger, and also to remind persons something bad is going on, whether it's some serial killer, rapist, or whatever. The persons should be aware, because you are the media is where people get a lot of the information. The various type of media, including this one, the listening one. And sometimes we have to be careful with what you say, because the same thing you might be trying to avoid, you might create a problem.
And my straight talk family, the government has a duty as well, which is to protect its citizens. Government must protect its citizens.
The government is duty bound constitutionally to protect every single citizen, including the vulnerable from him or herself. That is the government's duty. Because, bearing in mind, as you said, if the government do nothing or say nothing, some other person is going to say the government acts negligent. And we have to understand this fact. Whether we like it or not, the government is duty bound to protect you, even themselves, from anything. Remember, this is a thing that is causing lives, not one life. One life is enough. God is good to us. We haven't experienced that. There are a lot of countries, they are saying thousands, hundreds of thousands, they even want to make a country pay because they're saying they make millions of people die from this COVID-19 disease. And we have to understand the seriousness of it. But come with choices, there's also consequences. We have to remember that. As we want to believe are always free. You might have a choice to choose here, but there's also a consequence. Yeah, you have a right not to take it. But also, I have a right to refuse you into my business place because of whatever the laws are. We also have to abide by the law.
Yes, my straight talk family. While everyone has a right to choose, we must accept that with such a right comes a corresponding responsibility, and we have been reminded of this throughout history. Tragically, however, many of the problems that confront us today originate from our failure or complete refusal as a nation or as a people to exercise our rights in a responsible manner. Some believe they have a right to be wrong, my straight talk family. But we have a right, but we must count the costs. And these are the voices of ordinary people in this country. People like Sylvie Henry.
When you decide you're not going to take it, then say, I accept full responsibility for myself. Don't go back into the government to give you stimulus. Why should they give you stimulus when you don't want to have to stimulate the economy? It's simple, you know. It is so simple. And all I have to do, you don't take it. There are certain things you can't get. As simple as that. Remember, imagine the country that in some countries you have to vaccinate. Well, we are not vaccinated, so then you must take responsibility for yourself. That is the part that we're leaving out, you know. When you say, well, I'm not going to take it, don't expect to work where they have to, where the work will be that requires it. Mm-hmm. Don't go down by the gate and, oh, well, I'm on here and all of that. Mm-hmm. We must count, the Bible says, before you go to think, count the cost. That's what I would say. Don't just say, I'm not going to take, count the cost. If you know you can't bear the cost, then don't take it. But if you know you can't bear the cost, then you have to do. Because the Bible teaches it, you know. That's what I tell you, I learn to read that Bible. The Bible says before you go to war, sit down and walk out, lest in the middle of the war, you have to go and beg pardon. So you yourself must know what cost you are willing to bear. You can't go down and go, oh, well, the boss can't tell me. The boss could tell you because he hire you. Who hire you could fire you, you know. You know, so when you are making up your mind, you must count the cost. If you know you are able to bear the cost, as somebody say, if you're in tourism and you're going into agriculture, then you can say, well, I don't need to take any because I don't plan to go back into the taxi business.
And yes, my Straight Dog family, you have to count the costs if you make your choice. My message to you tonight, my Straight Dog family, is very simple and hopefully very clear. In a world marked by unprecedented humanitarian crises and geopolitical challenges, my Straight Dog family, strong leadership is absolutely critical, and our current Prime Minister continues to provide such leadership. He continues to provide strong leadership in terms of our economy. He continues to provide strong leadership when it comes to crime. And he continues to provide strong leadership during our present health crisis, my Straight Dog family.
My government has always said, and I have always said, that when it comes to matters that are critical to the survival of the state, the government must not take any option off the table. And whether it was in the battle against criminal activity, where I said we must use every resource to wipe it out of the country, or now we are faced with a global pandemic, we have to ensure that people do the right thing. And if we need legislation to ensure that people act responsibly, we will be prepared to bring the legislation, because the health and safety of our country must never be compromised. Never be compromised.
And that is an example of strong leadership. For me, my Straight Dog family, in conclusion, I will continue to defend our Federation's values and interests. I will stand by our friends and our allies. I will stand by my constituency and my country. I will continue to advocate for the poor and the weak, and I will always work with those who genuinely wish to advance the cause of human dignity. That's my message for tonight, my Straight Dog family. So now I'll open the lines and hear from you. You may want to continue this discussion on the volcanic eruption in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. You may want to consider the many volcanoes around the Caribbean, as I intimated, and even here in St. Kitts and Nevis. You may consider as well our preparedness as it comes to the upcoming hurricane season and the lack of will to vaccinate or take a vaccine and protect yourselves and others. These are some of the views I have advanced, and you have your own views, because that's what Straight Talk is all about. So I will open the lines and entertain your calls and your emails. It's 25 before the 9 o'clock hour. The numbers are 465-2555 and or 718-577-2916.
Hello.
I always must implore you, and when I open the lines, which I'll do in a couple of seconds, I anticipate that you will respect others. And of course, to achieve that, you must first respect yourselves. Let us try to be fair to all concerned. Let us try to build goodwill and better friendships. Let us ensure that in the things we say and or do, they will be beneficial to all concerned. And in the process of saying and or doing those things, my Straight Dog family, Let us strive to build a kinder, gentler St. Kitts and Nevis. The lines are open, my Sri Dog family. And how could I forget for a second time my dear brother Culture? I understand he is hospitalized. Culture, if you're listening to us, I do want to wish you a speedy recovery. I know you're a good soldier, so I expect you to be with your guns in your hands at all times. If you're listening, my dear brother Culture, and my sister Joan, if you hear, give him my regards. Tell him I'm coming to see him soon, so please hold on and wait for me. It's, again,
Mr.
23
Liburd.
before the 9 o'clock hour. The lines are open, my Straight Dog family,
Hello.
as we continue our discussion tonight, my Straight Dog family, and as well as on the issues, as well as your responsibility as citizens, the responsibility of the fourth estate, that's the media, and the responsibility of government. As government has a duty, so too the media, and so too you as citizens of this country. It's 8:37. We go to the lines. Caller, you're live.
Hello.
Good night.
Hello.
My
Hello.
dear, how art thou?
You could hear me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you loud and
You
clear.
want me to get cut off, you know. Listen me, let me tell you. So long. The horse and sugar money program today had grandfather abusing of the prime minister. And that's not fair. He is the prime minister, and how he hope that the young people them will here pay, compel them to take vaccine. He ain't compelling nobody, you know. You want take, you take. And he must done with it. Nearly an hour he got, you know. Anyway, see you here. But I think it's a comeback. But that ain't fair. You know who is grandfather?
grandfather?
See you.
Who is grandfather? Wow, that sounds like Alice in Wonderland. We don't talk parables.
Good evening, my brother.
Caller, your live. Good evening.
Yeah, I'm here to talk to the people about the quarantine and the part of the federation and different things like that. This is James Davis speaking here tonight. I had a long time I ain't calling, and due to the fact that I ain't calling for a long
James
time,
Davis?
and things like that, I want to tell you all
How are you?
something. I'm fine, thank you, brother, and I hope you are well. And I know you are well, and I know you're the champion in the business. And due to the fact of certain circumstances of principle, I have peace of my mind to tell the Federation tonight. The Federation, I'm a taxi driver, and I'm a man who can't read and write like the rest of them. And due to the fact that I cannot read and write like the rest of them, I went and I got my vaccination, and may have no after record or nothing like that, because I'm in the tourism industry. And we can do this together. We can do this together. Citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis, they know that the taxi business and the tourism development is our biggest industry since our sugar industry closed. And different things like this here. And I'm asking the citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis, when if a hurricane have to drop in St. Kitts, and we have this epidemic, it's invisible zombie. Guys, an invisible zombie it is, the pandemic. And due to the fact of certain circumstances of principle, I'm asking all these bright people in the Federation who have went to the Social Security and they are out so much money and different things like this here. If they're not going to make sure that the Social Security get back those money that the Prime Minister have given it to them. Because then, when you want something in life, you have to work hard for it. So help me God. When you want to live life, and you want to live a better life, you have to make up in your mind to do the right thing. Now, the right thing for this federation, this small 68 square mile country, I'm asking the citizens of this federation, what do you all want? Invisible zombie? Or you all want to vaccinate? What do you all want? You all want more money? Or you all want to vaccinate? What do you all want? Do you all want the better life of this federation to be better? Because, oh Father Almighty God, I'm saying that I cannot believe that my citizens of this country and this federation, that we have a prime minister that's fighting hard for us, could help us. Okay? And things like this here. This man is doing the best he could. And then here goes, we the citizens of St. is sitting back. You know, this storage industry got over 40,000 people working for them. And they're telling you that they're not going to vaccinate. So then, when the people when England tell them that they know they're not going, they have got a passport and they got to get this to go there. America say they got to have this. Russia said they have to have this. And because you got to vaccinate your passport now, you know. And different things like this here. And here goes you up there in America representing us and things like this here. And then here goes now, we down here now, embarrassing you. Sugar City Rock. Sugar City Rock is working with the vaccination, but WinFM and the Israel radio station is abusing the vaccination business, and it ain't nothing, no physique, and it ain't nothing serious about the vaccination. We take vaccination when it was small. Now we're big people today. We're big people today in this country, and here goes, we're letting people stop us from opening up our border. Border was closed. The Prime Minister called up and said, the border is closed. No, the border is supposed to be open. We open the border in a copy way. And I tell them, do not blame the Prime Minister. So then when you all do not get no tourists to this federation, all these people got 20 bus, 50 bus, 30 bus, and different things like this, and they cannot get them full. I'm asking them, do not blame the Prime Minister for anything. Because then, we give you all free vaccine, and you all refuse it. Free vaccine, and you all refuse it. So when the time comes, I will have to pay for it. Patches, I want to have a good night, and may the Lord be with you. And may God bless this country and this federation, and ask these people to go and take their vaccine. May the Lord be with you. Peace, love, and harmony. Good night.
Good night, my brother. You know, they always report and I always wonder why people try to put themselves down. Because if you listen to James Bumpy Davis, he doesn't sound like someone who can't read it, right? His intervention was so sound. And yes, togetherness, Bumpy. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you live.
Yeah, good morning. How are you?
I am peaceful, man. Yourself?
Yeah, I just pretty good. I'm peaceful myself. I took the vaccine. I'm calling from the United States. I took the Pfizer second shot this Monday, and when I took the first shot, no side effects. But just the same, I want to come back with the report of when I took the second shot to put the information out there. I had like a minor ache in the shoulder, in the injection site, and I developed some chills overnight, 3 a.m. in the morning, after I took the shot, 2 p.m. in the afternoon. Monday, fast forward to yesterday, Wednesday, 48 hours after I took that second shot, I started gaining my strength back, and, everything, started coming back. By yesterday, I was probably 75-80% back to myself, and by today, I was good. And I'm doing all of this and maintaining a regular work schedule. So I just wanted to echo the sentiments of that first caller right before me, and the people in the Federation of St. and Nevis, they need the unity now more than anything else. And they should not stay down there and play no political football with this issue, because toot moon and bad everybody gonna feel the pinch when they cannot get the economy open up and go back to where it was before. But the people now have to make a decision for their own self. What do they want for themselves? They want to starve right now? The government has already did their part and kept everyone safe. And the Prime Minister and the current government that's in control, they have done their part. They gave out so much money for stimulus, and they tell they're taking care of the citizens. You know, they're getting better treatment than us in the United States. And the people need not be ungrateful. They need to be thankful, bro. The first caller that just got off, man, so much right on the button, and that's coming from somebody who say he doesn't know how to read and write properly. You know, all those people who down there in St. Kitts and Nevis that claim that they're so educated and they went to school, they need to start demonstrating that. Some of them acting like they didn't go to university, man. That's my contribution. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the update on the vaccine reaction. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you're live. It's 3849.
Yes. Good evening, Honorable Patches. I'm waiting on the things them, and I like beg. As to say, I like beg. So how you doing? Because me ain't get the things them. I go in the news and beg somebody, one the other politician. Yes. Because me ain't looking my country, so I go in news someday. And I hope that when you see that you people don't vote right for a party, they get everything from the party, trying to make the party to feel like they love them. But they don't love them, you know, because you could give something, that's what they want to give them. Because a lot of them on the Honorable Noel Douglas get a lot of things, and they come back and be ungrateful to them. Just how they say they be ungrateful to you. So people, is that nice. So you have a blessed evening, and you take care. That because they ain't getting things in my car, but do you think it's yours? See you. Have a good night. I big up culture to in the hospital here. And Mr. Brooks in Newton say he trying to call you because he had bought them until last week and he can't get in. I just remember I was reading from the paper. See you.
Okay, thank you very much, my dear. Spanky, happy belated birthday. Bottle Black coming for you. Caller, you live.
Thank you for having me, Brother Patches.
Turn your radio equipment down, can you?
My equipment is down.
Thank you very much. I want the whole world to hear you.
First of all, I must say greetings and blessings to the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. And I don't know how long citizens are going to be sticking out and not obeying the request to go and take the vaccine. And like I mentioned to people sometimes, when they have something and they waste it, you say willful waste will be a woeful want. You see,
true.
I believe 80% of the citizens in St. Kitts and Nevis, I don't believe they listen to this broadcasting like what you're doing to be aware of what is going on. They rely on too much gossip. Okay? It's like hearsay and them say, and they go with that. So if one person spread a propaganda or fake information, it just goes from one ear to the next, and it becomes believable. And that's what's happening in St. Kitts. They're not listening to the source of information. They're not listening to facts. They go to hearsay, them say. So guess what? The greatest threat to St. Kitts and Nevis people is the people itself. They are the threat to themselves. COVID is not a threat to anyone. It's the people is the threat to themselves. So who is more dangerous? The people or whatever disease virus might be moving rampant? So guess what? Willful waste is a woeful want because they head too hard. They're like coconut.
coconut heads. People abusing you all now. Go and get the vaccine or else. Because this is going to be the thing. And if I were the Prime Minister of St. Kitts, okay? You see those who refuse to take the vaccine since they don't want to be forced, put them in a camp. And those who took the vaccine, let them have their freedom. Because I don't want to mingle with those people who are not vaccinated. That is the rule of the world right now. If you do not vaccine, do not come near me. So you will be segregated until you make up your mind. And guess what? By the time you make up your mind to say, look, I really got to get out of this, I got to take this, you're not going to get it because anyhow vaccines start to spoil. It's a waste of money. It's a waste of time. So guess what? Willful waste is a willful one. I will come back again. Thank you for having me. But people, listen up. Listen facts. Listen from the sources. And stop be gossiping. And stop listen hearsay and them say. Listen to the sources. Listen to the doctors. Listen to your leaders. Heed these words. Listen, I must say congratulations for the fight that the Prime Minister is doing. Okay? And also, I am so glad that he stepped up and make a contribution to St. Vincent people for the tragedy that they are facing. He did very well. And if I could match it, I would. And I'm looking forward to make a contribution myself. But I'm just waiting for further information. Thank you for having me, Brother Patches. Keep up the good work, okay? Jesus love you. God bless you. And God bless Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis.
God bless you as well, my brother. We go straight back to the lines. Call you live.
Mr. Patches.
How are you, John?
I'm fine, Mr. Patches. I am telling you, there is a man in the Bible, there was in the Word of God, talking about the Samaria, we have famine. We're talking about the word tonight. Famine was in Samaria. The word come to the prophet and tell the prophet that there is going to be abundant food in Samaria. A man busts out. Where this thing going to come from? The prophet tells the man, you shall see it and don't taste it. And when it happened, the same man who was doubting that nothing gonna happen, when it happened, the trade full out of food. The same man who said nothing gonna happen, he started to run enemy and they trampled him to death. This is what the Bible says. Now, Mr. Patrick, I came into a station yesterday. I was home. I mind them because I didn't listen to them after I used to listen to them. But the propaganda they used to speak and they're pulling down the government. But when I listen to the man, the horse, the owner, the so-called owner of the station, and when he started in a prime minister's name, well, when I think about it, he had a God in him. Because one time I was listening to his station, and he started to build the Christian there in St. Kitts. I said to myself, my God, And so he start to say, people gonna take the vaccine. One got no bearing. The next one say, it gonna cripple you with after 2 years. And they start. So the people, so the two man start to let go. But listen at night. Nobody never going to take place. It's God know. And I'm going to say tonight, what then in the dark, you come out in the light. For 20 years, a lot of things happen. And nobody never went down. But he going to come out. He packed a violin. And the same man who attack, people gonna put their hand on their head and they're gonna bawl. Because the man just started to look like he doing like the Prime Minister at all. He started getting left, right and center. And I tell myself openly, me not really listen to the station again in life. Because the man is not God. The next one got no God in the but they're going to see it. They're going to see the food. And they can't taste it. Mr. Patrick, I will come back. Have a pleasant night.
Thanks. Have a pleasant night, my dear brother and friend, John the Bible Man. At 2 before 9 o'clock, we go straight back to the lines. Call you live.
Greetings in the name of our great African ancestors, especially the most honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey and Queen Enzing. A blessed evening, my beloved African brother. How are you doing?
Peaceful, my brother. You and yours?
Good, man. Good, man. Good. The little prince is good, you know, and Corsi. Yes, beloved. Beloved, you know, brother, everyone have a right. He or she have a right to decide want to take the vaccine or not, but everything have a consequence or consequences. You don't want to take the vaccine? Okay. Well, if someone said, without the vaccine you can't work with them, all of that, beloved. But like I said, everything have a consequence or consequences. But my beloved brother, I haven't taken it, you know, and I still am very hesitant, beloved. Like I said, I personally, for me, I will take any vaccine coming out of Cuba without any hesitancy, beloved. But, I mean, here in the U.S., beloved, I don't know what's going to happen in the future before the vaccine, if and when Federation decide to get the vaccine out of Cuba. I hope that I still could fly without taking the vaccine so I could come there and take it, if that is the thing. Well, if that didn't happen, beloved, they put a restriction, I will have to make a constant decision, beloved, but a conscious decision. Whether, listen, Brother Nabu, you want to stay here, you want to fly, what you want to do, you want to take the vaccine, well, brother, when it comes to that, I will decide whether, if it comes to that, I will decide whether. But you see, brother, we got to cool down the temper in St. Kitts and Nevis, man, with this back and forth. We don't want our people. Our mission now is to open up, money start flowing more than ever before, beloved. Now this back and forth and these, you know, this propaganda is saying this and that and thing. You know, you got to just done with that damn nonsense, beloved, but and that's not a profanity. We got to done with the nonsense because, beloved, we must eat. The people of St. Kitts and Nevis must eat, brother. The economy must resume beloved brother, and you got to be stronger than before. So, you got a choice, my sisters and brothers. Whether you want to take the vaccine, you want to hold out and let things just run bad and you starve, well, it's your choice. I made a conscious decision in 1970, in the 1970s, when I want to cut my locks. I leave high school. I decided to leave high school, beloved brother. And, I regret it, beloved, but it did come at a very, very heavy price. But if I had to do it again, I'll do it the same way, beloved. So think of it, consequences. So my beloved sisters and brothers, you got to choose what you want to do. But brother, I hear, I call him a brother. Everyone is entitled to his or her own opinion. But I hear him Monday night and he come back tonight again, same foolishness, talk about concentration camp. But I would not subscribe to that. I know this administration held by Dr. Harris wouldn't got the Nazi mentality to put none of our people in a concentration camp and enforce, vaccinate them. No, I will fight against that, beloved brother. We are not Nazi and we're supposed to get no Nazi mentality. I will fight against that. People have a right,
yes, my brother.
Beloved. So, beloved, continue great works. Pan-Africanism our perish. Well, now, my beloved brother, continue to listen. Let's donate this foolishness, man, and just do the best thing, man, in our best interest for the Federation, St. Kitts and Nevis, and for our children and grandchildren. The best thing. Continue to listen, beloved.
Thanks a lot. One love, my brother. As you said, with everyone, while everyone, I should say, has a right to choose, we must accept that with it comes a corresponding responsibility. And we have been reminded of this throughout history. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller. Okay, we seem to have missed that caller. And, tragically, right?
Hello?
Many of the problems.
Hello?
Are you there, caller?
Hello?
Yes.
Yes, I am.
Yes, you're live.
First of all, I would like to rebut what the gentleman was just. I would like to rebut the.
You have a radio equipment on?
The gentleman who just spoke there and about.
Yes, but you have something in the background.
Let me define what I meant by concentration camp. This is not like the Nazis, okay? What I'm saying is those people who don't want to take the vaccine and those people who already get the vaccine and give their testimony of no side effect, no health hazard, no after effect, okay? When I say concentration, I don't mean to put them into a camp. I just mean they must focus on those who did not get the vaccine so that they could get the vaccine. It's not a matter of forcing them. You have to get the vaccine or else. I'm not saying that. So I'm defining myself, okay? So culture or whosoever it was. That's not the mentality. So let's cut out Nazi camp. Okay? If you would have understand is the fact that would you want to mingle with someone who is potential to create a storm that will be devastating, or you want to swim to the storm and get peace of mind? That is what I mean. For peace of mind, follow the protocol of the justification of the vaccine so that it could be better for all. Now you focus on money. Do you want money or you want your health? I will prefer my health. In order for the country to open up, borders to be opened up fully, and money to flow, do you think I will come here and spend my money to mingle with people who are not safe to me? I will go somewhere else or stay where I am and keep my money. So if you want the economy to open up and money start to roll, do the right thing, and you know what to do. Thank you for having me again. Oh, last but not least, this volcano in St. Vincent, I would like to open up a fund, and I will contribute the first $100, and I'm begging each and everyone in St. Kitts to contribute $1 and move forward, because remember we have a volcano also. What if our volcano were to erupt? It's dormant right now. We're going to need help too. So I think we all should contribute even $1 for helping the people of St. Vincent based on what is there. Do your part. I'm willing to do my part. I will open up the first contribution with $100, and each person think it can simply contribute $1 easy. And that will make a difference, because payback is a bitch, okay? Thank you for having me.
Thanks for your input, my dear brother, and for your clarification. But I'm sure we all agree that we have a right. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, thank you for holding.
Good evening, Patches. Now, the gentleman who just said he's willing to open up a fund to help the people in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. They have a gentleman here by the name of DuPont, Charlton DuPont, Crazy DuPont, who walking around with a box and begging $5 to help the people at St. Vincent. So if you know how to get in touch with Mr. DuPont, he could just send the $5, send the money to DuPont, and he'll put it in the box, so he could go by DuPont place in the mall and give it to him. Throw it in a box deal. But he does be in the circus with the box. Okay? Now, Patches, a week after week, people talking about the one vaccination from Cuba. You can't get nothing from Cuba in the United States. So that's what telling you have no intention of taking none. And the fact remains, you can't come here to get none, because you have to take it to board a plane to come here. And for 13 years, the flyer was sinking and never put the foot on the soil. You understand me? So they need to just shut up and go and sit down. You understand me? And because they keep on talking this thing all the time, and they never mean this beautiful country of ours no good. You understand me? But Patches, I'll be back. Thank you very much for listening to me.
You there, caller? Okay, let's listen to the views of the other man and respect it. You don't have to accept it, but at least respect it. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller?
Yes, good evening, Patches. You know, you find culture in the hospital, and Sandra Auntie, she passed off near Bailey's. So, big up on the radio. And that caller earlier was saying about people in a camp. When we went going to election, we was in a camp, rain line. So, people stop, not because we're black. See you.
Thanks a lot for your input. That's my friend from down west in Boyd's. Let's go back to the lines. Call you live.
Patches, good night. Sorry about that.
Yes, my brother. Politics. Yes. Good night.
God bless this federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. Thank God for this unity government. Thank God for Dr. Harris, our Prime Minister, who doing a wonderful job in the federation. And we got to keep our head high and look before we leap. Now, Patches, when I listen to some people in this country, I want to know what they really want. Patches, our country going well, and a unity banner wouldn't stop so. You understand? And to some people to trying to dissect and say all manner of things but the three different political parties, they come together in 2015 with the disaster we had with the farmer leader. You hear all kind of talk now. But it's even in a home with family members. You got problem, everybody ain't got the same opinion towards whatever. But as long as we keep together as one. Party from 2015 election, the government function and the opposition was saying that they ain't gonna last. We lost out to 2020 election call, we gained more seat, and the unity has there. But patches, the amount of 2-tongue, 3-tongue, 4-tongue here in this country, yeah? I want to know if the people in this federation really serious about the leadership and serious about the country. Because when you put on the news and you listen to even close to us, neighborly country to us, and you hear the problem they're into, you want to know if think it is in heaven and the mean is in hell. Patches. But patches, where we want in this country. Patches, Dr. Harris ain't forcing nobody just like any other country. The leaders them in the country them tell you come in, come take the vaccine. Up to today I was there together with the people, and they was there talking about the vaccine. And the girl, a lady that said he big itself taking vaccine, all the vaccine he want and his family them taking vaccine. No? Nobody gonna take none. I said, girl, just what the Prime Minister said, what other people in the world, I said, the other leaders, them I say. It ain't about Dr. Harris. It ain't about the government. It ain't about the cabinet. It's about, I listened to Andy Mark last night, and the same thing Mark had was the program from beginning to end about taking the vaccine. I want to know the problem. But Patrice, I want to thank God for a little 68 square miles put by Nevis. And I want to thank the government to continue to do what they got to do. None of lady, none who going from the propaganda station going to stop this country from run. Because 2004, when Mr. Lindsey Grant said to the people, the sugar industry don't close. You understand? The big man said, oh, well, he dead body. And Lindsey Grant said, he's going to give back land to the sugar workers, give this, give that, and give money. You understand? And our sugar workers now, some of our sugar workers money, with some sugar workers, all the colleagues, they're not getting nothing. Who in now 55 years, not get nothing, went into a radio station, and that is what we vote for. We vote for a radio station to propaganda us and talk on a negative thing about us and about the country. Patches, have a wonderful night. If I get back.
Have a wonderful night, my dear brother. I want to extend greetings, what am I saying? Extend condolences, sympathies to the Roberts family. Butler and Roberts family just got some information that Baileys has passed away. Lydia Butler Roberts, Sandra and the entire gang, please accept my sympathies. Remember that death is a process, so you remain strong. Could you? Call you live.
Patrick, good night.
Good night, my unity friend.
Yes, I'm in the
my
house.
warrior from the east.
Good night. Warrior from the east, all the time.
Yes.
Patches, I want to send out my condolences to Pamela and Sandra and Marsha and everybody who lost their life. But Patches, I want to say tonight about this vaccine because I hear an ex-policeman on the radio must yesterday, I think, saying he going to file an injunction. I don't know for what. He and his family suffer from blood clots and all them kind of thing. I don't know for what. Who don't want to take the vaccine, and God forbid, if a serious hurricane had to hit St. Kitts here, just move out all the prisoners, them, and all who don't want to take the vaccine, just put them in there. Because they can't be mingled up between people. They don't want to take the vaccine. That's their right. But somebody who had a business and trying to protect their business, they still want to talk about how they have to go take COVID test every 2 weeks where they're going to get money from. You do what you want, you with your body, and people go and run their business how they want. You know? So, Patches, I don't have words to say tonight, but I just want to say, to God be the glory, great things He have done, and gave us, I don't know the song, He gave us
Greater rejoicing. He gave us this song.
Hey! Praise the Lord, praise the Lord,
Praise the Lord.
let the earth hear His voice. Praise the Lord, praise the Lord, let the people rejoice. Oh, come to the Father, to Jesus the Son, and give Him the glory. Great things He has done. Prime Minister Harris, good night. We're from wilderness to progress. Thank you so much. Keep on doing what you have to do. You're doing very good. God bless you. Don't let nobody bring you down. Words can bring you down. Let it talk. You don't want to take the vaccine, don't let it take it. That's the right, but people going to protect their job. And you're going to protect the rest citizens of our country. Patches, you have a safe journey. Oh, God. Wherever you be, have a blessed night. Prime Minister, you bring this country from wilderness to progress, and you keep it so. Bye. That is.
Hi, my dear. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. It's 18 past the 9 o'clock hour. I'm taking as many calls as possible. Without much comment, call you live. Hello, caller.
Hi, a pleasant good evening to you. How are you?
I am peaceful, my dear. You make me smile now I've seen those dimples.
Oh, Lord. What is
You got your vaccine?
Let me tell you something, Ravi. I too glad that the Prime Minister don't listen, no gossip, and watch not, because it don't make no sense to study people who ain't know where they're going and what they want. So I'm glad he don't listen nothing. And when I hear the gossip them put up the thing them, I don't come and put up the radio, come down tell the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister ain't have no time with nobody who ain't know where they're going and what they want. So please, his skin big, whoever chatting him on WhatsApp, them a bounce at him. You know see about time big. Even the foot on a radio foot on top the stomach big. Leave the Prime Minister alone. He ain't thinking nobody to take no vaccine. You stop the lawyer and stop the man. He ain't complaining nobody to take vaccine. Who want to take. And Mr. Prime Minister, you don't compel nobody who want to take, let them take. So, I think this kind of audience you ain't compelling nobody. And he have no time to waste. And who out there abuse him and not chat him. But if you have a pleasant night, to hear me?
Have yourself a pleasant night as well, my dear. I go straight back to the lines, call you live.
Very pleasant night. Patrick, how are you?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
Oh, pretty okay. But, you know, I've noticed a lot of fear-mongering is going on broadly in that people are saying that the vaccination will kill off people. But those people have to consider the the hard matters relating to the world and the world economy. Now, capitalism cannot afford to kill off millions of people because the very basis of capitalism is a vast abundance of cheap labor. So how would capitalism survive by killing off millions of people? In fact, you're talking about from child labor up to the exploitation of adults. Now, one of the things that's presently going on is the struggle between American capitalism and the emergence of China. So if Western capitalism was to kill off millions of people, noting how quick, and it has to be noted, how quick the Chinese got into vaccinating their population. This would only further push China ahead of the Western world in terms of the capitalist economy and business and that kind of thing. So people are saying that they're going to be killing off millions of people by the vaccine, just do not seem to understand how this world works in terms of capitalism. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, my dear brother, for your short thesis. Let's go back to the lines. Call your line. Hello, caller. My Sri family, while I wait for that call, I believe, like I said, the focus should be on our preparedness. And I believe COVID vaccines must be seen as a critical component of such preparedness. Let's go back to the lines. I'll come back to that. Call your line.
Yeah, good evening, Patches. Now, when I was hanging up, you were saying something to me. You know, I heard you say something, but I really never catch what you said because I had to move back into the radio. You know. But okay, let me talk. Maybe you realize what you said and you could refresh while I talk. Right?
Can I tell
you? Yeah, go ahead.
I was suggesting to you, right, that each of us would have our own opinion, right?
Yeah.
And we can either accept it, the other opinion, or reject the other opinion, right? But at least we ought to respect it, you know? I mean, that's what straight talk is all about, you know?
Yeah, but what you meant by respect it? If I want the vaccination and you don't want it, I don't have to respect your one. I don't have to.
No.
You know?
Hear me out again. You listen to me? I'm saying we all have, we're different people. Right?
Yeah, but you can't read my mind, Patches. You don't know why I said it. You can't read my mind. You know, you can't read my mind. You have to let me talk. Who the cat fit to pull the string? If they don't want to pull the string, just let it shut up and go outside. You understand me? We got better things to talk. Me ain't going back down the road there. You understand me? Now, Patches.
So you're running the show now. So you're running the show now. So you're gonna host the show now.
Yeah, I'm hosting the show.
I'm saying to you.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Now,
go ahead. You're a good host. Go ahead.
What? Yeah. Now, here's come the government, I think it's a Nevis, and the ministers, the prime ministers, the health department and everything, going around and begging people to take a vaccination. You understand me? Now, the country is at standstill. The government has tried the best. Who ain't get 500, they get thousands. Who ain't get thousands, they get other money, I can't even call the word. Right? My God, open your eyes, smell the coffee, and do the right thing. You understand me? Now, I can say something now, and the whole trouble about it. In Cuba, when they had the yards and the foods and so on, they had a camp to put them in. The same Cuba. You cannot mingle with people. The other day when they had the AIDS and the Ebola, who ain't take no shots and thing, who was caught with the Ebola were gone to a special camp. Why I gonna go and take a vaccination here to protect my family and my customers, and you can just walk in and throw your foot down and in my place and say, well, I don't have to take no vaccination, and I'm just on my head and don't say nothing. Now them things can't be right, Patches. No, under no kind of circumstances, things could be right. You know, what the Prime Minister and the government need to do, give who they could give, and who ain't get, throw the rules and the book. Throw the rules and the book. You can't walk in government building as you like and at the courthouse and the front thing unless you be vaccinated, and nobody can do them nothing for that. That is government rules. You can't just walk in the hospital and then get no vaccination and figure to yourself that thing. When you're going in there, you come to get your vaccination, you go in the line over there. That's the vaccination line. You can't come in there and line and sit down and bench and all of that. Them things can't work.
Okay,
why you got to walk
can I ask
here?
you a question now?
Huh?
Can I ask you a question now?
Yes, sir.
You just hosted this show for about 5 minutes. You can take it for 2 hours?
I could go more than that. I got enough talent for that. I remember I'm the king, you know. I am the honest Calypso king in St. Kitts. You know that, right? The honest king.
I'll get to some lyrics.
I was elected by the people, you know. It's a vote by telephone to elect me, you know. Me one of them who cook up and say, boy, now, to rock aside. It's a public vote for me. You understand me?
I'm going to send you some lyrics.
Judges,
I'm going to send you some lyrics, okay.
Okay, all right, brother. I'll be glad for them. God bless the Patches, and bless my Prime Minister, and bless this beloved country of ours. And we can come out this time. I could tell you that. And we can come out brighter than ever. Okay? God bless you, sir. Yes, that's you.
God bless you. That's
okay. Okay.
People's King, King Rockefeller. It's 28 past 9. Let's go back to the lines. Call your line. Okay? Here's what. If you just join us, my Straight Dog family, we in fact looked at what I call the world crises, the crises in the world. We zoomed in on volcanoes, and in particular on the eruption at the Soufrière in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And our hearts, our prayers still go out to the government and people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We do have some amongst us there in St. Kitts. Remember, Vincentians used to come to cut our cane when the locals never cut the cane. So lots have left back, lots remain, and starved families. Reminded us that there are about 19 volcanoes throughout the Caribbean region, from Hispaniola in the north to Grenada down in the south. I listed all these volcanoes for you in just, in the event to just join us. I listed the Soufrière Hills volcano in Montserrat, which is one of the most popular volcanoes, most active and studied volcanoes in the Caribbean. I looked at Mount Pelée in Martinique, which had a cluster of eruptions over 100 years ago and cost the lives, or claimed the lives of over 28,000 people. La Grande Soufrière in Guadeloupe in the 1970s forced the authorities to completely evacuate the island. Mount Scenery in neighboring Sable last erupted centuries ago in 1640. L'Aquile, just next door here in St. Eustatius, erupted over 1,000 years ago. Mon Diablo teens, I should say, in Dominica, has not erupted in over 1,000 years. Mont Trois Pitons in Dominica. The Mont Trois Pitons are three volcanoes, Mont Aux Diables and Mont Plat-Pay. And Mont Wat is the only volcano in the group to have erupted recently in 1997. Mount St. Catherine in Grenada is a dormant volcano located in the northern region of Grenada. There's no recorded eruptions of that particular volcano, and it's still a popular hiking site. Kikem Jenny is a submarine volcano, I should say, north of Grenada. And remember, in 2015, in fact, there was some seismic activity recorded at that site, and ships were banned from sailing close to Kikem Jenny due to the sinking hazard caused by the gases it released. Sulphur Springs in St. Lucia as well. It's one of the world's, or as the only drive-in volcano in the world, I should say. Tourists can experience this unique drive-in volcano. They enjoy a dip in the hot springs and mud baths as a reminder of the island's now dormant volcano past. This is Mud volcano in Trinidad, and it is said they are not true volcanoes, but there are a dozen mud volcanoes in Trinidad, and DDT, located on the southern side of the island, right, has frequently belched gases. The Haystack in Aruba, that too, is another volcano. I don't have much information on its eruption. And the Nevis Peak over there in Nevis has never recorded any eruptions at all. My Stray Dog family. Mount Blyamigo, right here in St. Kitts, has been dormant for over 1,000 years. It's a popular tourist site, and lots of hikes are done over at that volcano. But some years ago, there was some earthquake tremors, I should say, in the area close to Blyamigo, and that occasioned the UWI Seismic Research Center to observe the volcano activity there for several months. And yes, of course, La Soufrière, right? But there are advantages, there are disadvantages as well as it relates to volcanoes, my Stray Dog families. But just today, Prime Minister Gonzalez made these comments in his daily press briefing. He said this.
It's a developing issue in some of the shelters in relation to COVID-19, and I'm fearful that if we are not, if we ourselves, everybody involved, if we're not careful, we can have a spike which could create a real danger in addition to what we're having with the volcano. And some numbers that I've seen, and one or two, it's not yet, doesn't appear alarming as yet, but the uptick in one or two areas and some anecdotal evidence is giving me a little concern. Well, more than a little concern.
Yes, there's concern about the vulnerability for those who have not taken the tests, those who have not taken the vaccine, but yet they have to be provided shelter. And that would concern anybody, I'm sure.
On the 13th, we had 6 cases, and on the 14th, we had another 6 cases. But especially worrying is the fact that we have now picked up 5 COVID-positive patients among evacuees. 2 of those persons were actually were in the homes of relatives, so that we have exposure within a private home, and the other 3 persons, one in one shelter, exposing 12 persons in that family, and 2 persons in another shelter, exposing around 8 persons in that shelter immediately as close contacts. So we are in the process now of doing contact tracing and extensive testing of those contacts, but we are extremely concerned. In one situation, no one in the shelter was vaccinated. So that's all vulnerable persons.
Yes, without vaccines, there is evident vulnerability by straight dog family. And yes, as I said, I raised the issue about the shelters in the context that we are approaching the hurricane season the next couple of weeks. And I believe we ought to be prepared. We do, as part of our preparedness, provide shelters as well. And from this backdrop, in this context, I really want to encourage the vaccinations. Because we don't know what's going to happen. We understand that it's going to be a real busy hurricane season by Straight Dog family. We don't know what it will be like. But despite being recognized as one of the most successful public health measures ever taken, vaccination is still being perceived as unsafe and unnecessary by a growing number of individuals. And let me make the point. Everyone has a right to accept or not to accept the vaccine. But with every right, there comes responsibility or responsibilities by Straight Dog family. I'll go to the lines at 22 before 10. Caller, I want to thank you for holding. You are live. Hello, caller?
Yeah, Patrick. Won't be here again.
So?
Let me turn on the radio. And I have here to say, right, that then we have the buses them down at the ferry terminal until like this year. People are jumping in the buses and they do not have no mask. And then here goes the police officers is there and they're laughing up and down with them. And different things like that there. They're showing the nutshells and everything like this here. There's littering on the road, and the police, when we go to the police officers them to make report or file a report, they is saying that then, no, they can't do anything about it, and different things like this here. What I'm saying now that I'm calling all the sergeants them, and different things like this here, to deal with the people that who they're sending down to the ferry terminal, and different things like this here, because it's very serious, and things like this here. Every morning we give them a clean office to work. And different things like this here, right? And they come, and the guys them come, they wash down the bus, and they sweep out everything on the ground, and they leave them there. I do believe that the bus terminal now need to have their own private cleaners. Let a busman clean the garbage, because to me, that they do not enjoy having a clean place. They enjoy, and plus also the customers them, and things like this here, they're leaving the cups and the garbage all over, and we have 2 garbage bins there, and different things like this here. And I'm saying that then, pipe is busting down there, and things like this. The supervisor is not looking over to it. But then here goes now, every little thing she come and she want, reporting people, and different things like that there. And we is cleaning up the place every single day. We is cleaning, me, Wookie, everybody's working every day, hardly, to make the country and our gateway, because that's the ferry terminal is our gateway, and different things like this. They say they're going to upgrade and things like this here. No, here goes to say you're going to upgrade, and then when you look, you don't want to put no mirrors in the bathroom. You don't want to put no soap and sterilizer in the bathroom and different things like that there. So when my guests them come from Nevis, or my guests them come from the United States of America or England or Germany or whatever it is, they don't have nothing to clean their hands. No paper towel, no hand sterilizer, no mirrors, and different things like this here. The other day, one of them, a man went in the bathroom and break up the bathroom. And when we go and we report it, the more to do, they replace back the facility, the thing and so forth, inside the town and so forth. And it's a car washer, a bus washer, is who mash up the bathroom. And I'm feeling very embarrassed now that I work in a place for so much years. And still, no recommendation, no way towards the life, and no better solution. But I'm telling you, we all need to get these people, to get the people them vaccinated, and all these busmen need to vaccinated too. Thank you. Have a good night, and may the Lord be with you safe drive home.
Thank you, my brother. Have yourself a good night as well. So this morning I was in an elevator. I joined a lady in an elevator. The rule is that only 2 persons are allowed on the elevator. On one of the floors, the elevator stopped, and the gentleman asked if he could join. That would make it 3. It was so comforting to hear the lady say, "Oh, we all are vaccinated, so we're safe." But that's it, my Street Dog family. We have to be able to get rid of this threat of this disease by vaccinating. The media houses have a duty to inform the people, my Straight Dog family, about the positive things related to vaccinating, or vaccinations, I should say.
The media houses, part of their duty is to inform. And sometimes we have to stop and realize sometimes when we try to help, we're not really helping. So, as you say, other persons might be saying and they're criticized, but also what you're saying could also cause a problem, because if you're saying people are encouraging people not to, the same thing you're doing, the same thing someone might say you're doing for encouraging persons not to take. And at the end of the day, in my opinion, as you said, you have your opinion. I think what you're saying shouldn't be, because media houses are there to help get information out, to prevent bad things from happening, to prevent persons from running into danger, and also to remind persons something bad is going on, whether it's some serial killer or rapist or whatever. The person should be aware.
Yes, the media houses do have their role to play. Do you have a call on the line? But here's what, my Stray Dog family. The government as well has a duty. It is duty bound to protect the people.
The government is duty bound constitutionally to protect every single citizen, including the vulnerable from him or herself. That is the government's duty. Because, bearing in mind, as you said, if the government do nothing or say nothing, some other person is going to say the government acts negligent. And we have to understand this fact. Whether we like it or not, the government is duty bound to protect you, even themselves, from anything. Remember, this is a thing that is causing lives, not one life. One life is enough. God is good to us. We haven't experienced that. There are a lot of countries, they are saying thousands, hundreds of thousands, they even want to make a country pay because they're saying they make millions of people die from this COVID-19 disease. And we have to understand the seriousness of it. But come with choices, there's also consequences. We have to remember that. As we want to believe are always free. You might have a choice to choose here, but there's also a consequence. Yeah, you have a right not to take it. But also, I have a right to refuse you into my business place because of whatever the laws are. We also have to...
Yes. We also have a right to choose. But we must accept that with that right comes a corresponding responsibility. And we have been reminded of this throughout history. Tragically, however, many of the problems that confront us today originate from our failure or complete refusal as a nation, other people, to exercise our rights in a responsible manner.
When you decide you're not going to take it, then say, I accept full responsibility for myself. Don't go back into the government to give you stimulus. Why should they give you stimulus when you don't want to have to stimulate the economy? It's simple, you know. It is so simple. And all you have to do, you don't take it. There are certain things you can't get. As simple as that. Remember, imagine the country that in some countries you have to vaccinate. Well, we are not vaccinated, so then you must take responsibility for yourself. That is the part that we're leaving out, you know. When you say, well, I'm not going to take it, don't expect to work where they have to, where the work will be that requires it. Mm-hmm. Don't go down by the gate and argue, oh, well, I'm born here and all of that. Mm-hmm. We must count, the Bible says, before you go to think, count the cost.
Yes, you have to count the cost. But my message tonight, my Straight Dog family, I'll repeat it, is very clear, very simple. We're living in a world marked by unprecedented humanitarian crises and geopolitical challenges. And strong leadership is absolutely critical in these unprecedented times. And our current Prime Minister, Dr. the Honorable Timothy Sylvester Harris, continues to provide such leadership. He continues to provide strong leadership in terms of the economy, even in these difficult times. One wonders, as someone asked me, where on earth he found $1 million to give to our brothers and sisters in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. $20,000 for Sidima. But that's because of his astute leadership. He continues to provide strong leadership in the area of crime, my Straight Dog family. And he continues to provide strong leadership during this current health crisis in our country, my Straight Dog family. And that is what is needed.
The government has always said, and I have always said, that when it comes to matters that are critical to the survival of the state, the government must not take any option off the table. And whether it was in the battle against criminal activity, where I said we must use every resource to wipe it out of the country, or now we are faced with a global pandemic, we have to ensure that people do the right thing. And if we need legislation to ensure that people act responsibly, we will be prepared to bring the legislation, because the health and safety of our country must never be compromised. Never be compromised.
Never be compromised, my Straight Dog family. At 10 before the 10 o'clock hour, I'll take a few more calls before we wind down tonight's program. And caller, thank you for holding your line. Hello, caller.
Yeah, hello, good night. Yes. Good night, Patrick. Good night, Patrick. How are you?
How is my warrior from the east?
I'm doing good. I'm just calling. I'm not forcing nothing on no one, but I'm just encouraging the people of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis to take the vaccine, because I I went to Miami last year, March, to do some vascular surgery because I had some very bad veins and they was just breaking, and sometimes I'm walking and I don't even know that they were bleeding and just messing down places and things. And I went to my doctor here and he said I have to do surgery. And make a long story short, he sent me to a vascular doctor here, and the vascular doctor here said he would not touch me with a long stick. He has to refer me to somebody who is better than him. And so he referred me to Miami to a Cuban doctor named Dr. Almeida. And I was supposed to go back to see him after the surgery last year, September, but due to the fact of the COVID was so bad in Miami, I did not go. So now I'm getting ready to go. So I saw my doctor here, and he said, Patricia, how are you doing? And I said, I'm getting ready to go to see Dr. Almeida. And he said, did you take your vaccine as yet? I said, I'm going to get my first one on the 6th. And so I'm going to get my second one on the 27th, and then I'll get myself all set to see my doctor. So what I'm saying that to say is, I'm encouraging each and every one. I'm not forcing anybody, but it's the best thing to do. Get your vaccine, because you're going to need it. You're going to need it to mingle. You're going to need it. We need the economy open. Here in the Virgin Islands, we don't have to quarantine. And the people, and I went down to the University of the Virgin Islands. That's where they're giving the vaccine. And the line was long. You understand? The line was long. People down here is taking the vaccine, and you don't have to quarantine. So I'm begging the people of the Federation of Thinkers and Nevis, make your mind up. It's going to worth it. It's going to worth it. We need the economy come back. It's going to worth it. I work in the tourism industry. I work in at a hotel in St. Thomas almost 20 from 94. From 94. And I'm, and so I know what's the industry like, and I work in St. Kitts Hotel. So I'm encouraging you all to let the economy open up. We need the economy open back up, okay? So I'm encouraging you all. I got my second one. I didn't even have no pain in my shoulder or nothing. I'm in my first one. I'm going to get my second one on the 27th, God stay alive, and I'm encouraging you all. Don't let nobody fear you all, okay? Make up your mind. Anyway, Patrice, you have a safe night. God bless the Federation of Thinkers and Nevis. I need to come home and I need to mingle with all my friends and my loved ones and my family. So y'all get vaccines so we can mingle. Bye. Love you, Patrice. Keep up the good work.
Love you, Patricia. Yes, I would encourage those who are afraid, because I got my vaccine last week, Friday, as well, my first dose, and no problems. Nothing to fear. Let's forget the fear mongering. I go back, I think it's on the 7th of May. Right. And like I said, vaccines have been proven to be the measure, a successful public health measure that was used for years, or been used for years. Vaccination is still perceived, despite it has been recognized as one of the most successful public measures. There's some people who like us to believe that it is unsafe, my Stray Dog family. But the lack of confidence in vaccines is now considered, it's bordering on being a threat to the success of the programs that have been rolled out, not just in St. Kitts, in other parts of the world as well. If this trend is allowed to continue, the vaccine history or hesitancy will lead to decreasing vaccine coverage. And that lady, like Warrior from the East, Patsy, spoke to reopening the economy and getting back to normalcy. But really the focus, though, is on life. And if there's no life, then we don't have or won't get a livelihood, my Stray Dog family. So I'm encouraging the media as well to play a part. The media, the fourth estate, or the fourth power. Right? It refers to the fourth estate both in explicit capacity of advocacy and implicit ability to frame issues, be they political and or otherwise. And the media wields significant indirect social influence and can do much more to promote the safety of this vaccine and much more to prevent vaccine hesitancy, I submit. The government has a duty as well to protect its citizens, and this team unity government has done well since the advent of this COVID pandemic. Yes, we talk about rights, and everyone has a right to choose. But with that right comes a corresponding responsibility. And we have been reminded of this throughout the entire history. However, many of our problems that we are confronted with today stem from our failure as a nation or a people to exercise our rights in a responsible manner. And this was my message to you tonight, my Street of Family. Very clear and simple message. We have to be responsible. We have to act in a responsible manner. Yes, we do have rights, like I said. And my message tonight was very clear. In a world marked by unprecedented humanitarian crises and geopolitical challenges, strong leadership is absolutely critical. And our current Prime Minister, Dr. Timothy Sylvester Harris, as I said before, continues to provide such leadership. He continues to provide strong leadership in terms of the economy of our nation. He continues to provide strong leadership when it comes to crime. And we couldn't recall where we came from in terms of crime. And he continues to provide strong leadership during this present health crisis, my Street Dog family. I'll perhaps take 2 more calls before I wrap tonight. A caller, you are my penultimate call, you're live. Thank you for holding.
Me is nothing. You ain't near to the phone, that's 5 times now I get cut off. I forget to tell.
You did?
I forget to say hello to Culture. Here.
How is Culture?
Who?
How is Culture?
How he is?
Yes.
I don't know. When you come here, we see. You're going to know. Anyway,
okay.
I hear you talk about your vaccine. It's a special one you get because they're talking about the Prime Minister get a special vaccine, different to the others.
He gets a special one?
Yeah. What is a jab? The jab.
Well, the jab with the needle.
Were they in the same vaccine?
You got the same one, didn't you?
No. They were saying that when... No, I hear Mr. Grant say something about you don't get a jab and maybe 2 weeks and you have to pay for it. So I wanted to know what it is.
Well, I didn't hear Mr.
It is something you want in your mouth, different to an injection.
Oh, I'm not aware.
Okay.
I'm lost.
All right.
Yes.
Hi, Mother.
Okay, let's go back to the lines. That sounds like Alice in Wonderland. Call your live.
Alice in Wonderland, good night. And good night, Mr. Patches, and how are you? And condolences to the Roberts family passing of my good friend Bailey is there. My good friend last year. When he shut down, we had such a good time. So sorry she gone so soon, but you know it is. Yes, Mr. Patches, nobody say, right? You're not supposed to obey the government, you know, but what people saying, and people got to listen to other people. Right story. It have, some of you, when we go to the doctor always will tell you, your cholesterol is very high. That means too much fat in your blood. And when you got the vaccine, and you ain't check a doctor to let the doctor tell you if you could take it or not, you just can't go out. Because it is, we maybe look like you make your blood a little thicker, so because if it's a vitamin, people say this, you make up out of different species, and we getting it, and they just like, you know, trying it out on us. So if I feel strong and healthy.
You took the vaccine?
Yeah.
Huh? And you're all right, right?
If I take it yet?
Yes.
No, Mr. Patrick, I was watching and I observing. Because it ain't right for me to my body at this age to feel strong and healthy. And when I go take it now, next week, I'm going in the morgue now. I ain't ready to go in the morgue yet. I ain't saying going, you know, everybody got to walk there. But what I'm saying, the one-room apartment, ain't ready to go in it yet. What I'm saying, let us give us time. Let people think about it, not
how much time you
into
need?
it. Huh?
How much time you need?
Well, I got to sort out yourself, as I told you. I was listening to someone speaking the other day, and they saying, if you suffer with this cholesterol, I said, oh, well, every time I go doctor they tell me I suffer with it, you know, so I was making up my mind the other day, I'm going for it. And I say, that's good. I listen. Some people say they not listen to the station and I listen to the station because they ain't talking what they want to hear. But it's good to listen and observe. I tell you, I feel healthy, you know. I don't know for tomorrow, but I know I feel healthy. The only thing that make me unhealthy right now is a little accident, and I mean praying for it now, you know. And I don't want to run into it to take this vaccine, which is a side effect on me. And when I hear people, you know, here when they say don't give you word on it next year, 2022 July. By that time I could have rotten and forgot my people, I mean getting no compensation,
Yeah,
nothing.
Can I say something to you?
Yes, Mr. Liburd.
I was listening to the medical chief of staff, Dr. Wilkinson, and forgive me if I don't have the right figures. I think he said there was some 10,700 people or more who took the vaccine in St. Kitts. And there's no report, absolutely no report, that anybody got sick.
Oh, but why you say that? Not really laughing at you, you know. But it's what you said telling me, because I know. A lot of people don't get side effect from it. Some you know about and some you don't know. And we must, and one thing with government, you know, as they get older, around politics, I don't see, and I'm going to say to them, Mr. Liburd, right, and don't feel no way. The government do not explain everything to the poor people. They tell you what they want to, they want you to hear, and they keep back the rest. But you know, you don't get to know that. Some money there that leak out the secret. Just like the other day, they was going to
I didn't say the government.
The other day, they were going to go up on top and nothing goes on. And when you look at leak out, say you have to take it back, and you hear them come in here and say, oh, we ain't going to go with it again because such and such a thing, too much pressure to other people. I beg our eyes, you know, it's there to take, and we're going to take it. But don't push it down nobody's throat like a dose of oil. Oil people stop take oil, and when they think we used to take again, and where you must take when holiday time. Salt, Epsom salt, right? They must let us make up our mind and take it that after a while you don't go Go certificate and then you start to send me. Let me tell you, don't make it sharp because you're so close. I went to the hospital a couple days ago and they treat me, right? And when I walk, you know, the lady, so they had me there about 2-3 hours, you know, whatever it was. And when I'm coming out now, the lady said, you would like to get this medication to help your mind, it could side effect you, or not. I told her, no, I don't want any, and I never did take any, and I feel well afterward. And you have a good night, you hear? We're going to do it, but we're going to do it when the time is right, okay?
Chill loud and clear, my dear. You'll do it when the time is right. You said that time waits on no man. My straight dog family. And is there a caller?
Yes, call. Yeah. Patches, I don't know when you were reading out. Did you mention Guadeloupe in the hurricane thing? The what I call it, the volcano.
Yes.
You remember Guadeloupe had a volcano and it was erupted, and they found one person alive because he was in a dungeon. I don't know if you read it out because I never hear all of the countries you call, you know. And
yes, I remember Lagrange. I mentioned Lagrange Soufriere in Guadeloupe.
Oh, okay. Well, I just as I said, I never know if you did call it out. Now, Patches, I just want you.
That had the problems in lives.
I
was saying it was Martinique,
Martinique, not Guadeloupe, Martinique. You're right. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. There, another thing again, dear. I just want you to continue to say a prayer for our good buddy Culture, and he will overcome any struggle he have because he's a strong man and different thing like that. And Patches, God is good all the time. You understand me? And don't let nobody fool you. So, the more light the burn, the more you can see your way, the government can see the way, and different thing like that. Because we have a good government and a good prime minister. And everybody love him. Instead, the devil not love him, but you know how to keep off the devil by prayer. Okay, so give your heart for Culture and your praise for Culture for me, please. Okay, thank you, brother.
Yes. Thank you very much, my dear brother. Perhaps that's the way we should end it tonight.
Not this one, you know. Listen to this one.
Please go ahead.
I hear my good friend Bernie.
Separate for Culture.
I hear me good
Separate
friend.
for Culture.
Okay. Heavenly Father, as you own God, and I want to put Culture in your hand, that you can look at you can bless him and look after him. In Jesus' name, a short prayer. Anyway, I hear my good friend Bernice just calling. I want to tell her that she friends and what she just follows. Stop, say that the Prime Minister must take that. Then she call back and say what he must take. Because under him, she get what she get. Unless she call back and say she had to pay. Everybody had to pay. People can't get things free. See you.
That's the way we're going to end it tonight, my Straight Dog family, because my time is done and I got to run. I want to beg you, though, don't you move your dial, because the mayor of St. Paul's, yes, St. Paul's, Theophilus Theo Clark is in the house, and I'm sure he has some oldie goldie reggae music for you. But I want to just thank Almighty God for guiding our conversation tonight, and as always, I want to thank you, the many callers. There's some who just couldn't get in. I just don't know why. I can only apologize. Those who sent emails, I forgot to read my emails. Forgive me. Forgive me. And those on social media, Facebook, YouTube, and the likes. Misha, Iona, Cleo, Cecil, Paulette, Hermine, Margaret, Bonner, Everton, Maydad, Tansir, Eric, my dear brother in New York, Alex, Paulette, Rosella, and Patricia, again, Avril, Lawson, my good friend, Flash in St. Martin, Janet in St. Martin, Patricia again, and all the Delvin as well, Cyfroy in the house, all of you make straight talk. Those who listen to Radio ZIZ, the radio, yes, is still pervasive, and there are many on Radio ZIZ. Remember, all of you make straight talk, and for that reason, I say a big, big thank you. I am Ian Patches Liburd. On God's spare, we will connect on Monday for another edition of Straight Talk. As I said to you in the beginning, I'll leave you in the end as well, my Straight Talk family. I will continue to defend our Federation's values and interests. I will stand by our friends and allies, my constituency and my country. I will continue to advocate for the poor and the weak, and I will always work with those who genuinely wish to advance the cause of human dignity. My Straight Talk family, have yourselves a wonderful weekend. Go to church, do your chores, my Straight Talk family, and be good to all whom you meet. And remember, whatever you might conceive, that you will achieve. But first of all, you got to believe. So when you wake in the morning, thank God for the morning light. Thank Him for taking you through the night. And my Straight Talk family, keep moving on. Bye-bye. Until we connect on Monday for another edition of Straight Talk. Bye-bye.
In the morning,